Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha Ramlal. I'm an Agricultural Officer 1 attached to the Plant Quarantine Department of the Research Division, Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. This morning, I'll be talking a little bit about importing plant and plant products into Trinidad and Tobago. In this presentation, you will learn a little bit about our legal framework, our plant quarantine operations in Trinidad and Tobago, what is a plant import permit and phytosanitary certificate, some of the items that do not require an import permit, a plant import permit, the plant import permit registration and application processes, and what to do when you receive your plant import permit. You will learn more about our inspection process, as well as some of our achievements and future projects. The Plant Quarantine Department operates under the legal framework of the Plant Protection Act 13 of 1975, which was amended in 2001. The Act is also supported by the Plant Protection Regulations of 1997, which we are guided by. Trinidad and Tobago is also a signatory to a number of international agreements, such as the WTO SPS agreement, the International Plant Protection Convention, or the IPPC. As mentioned before, Trinidad and Tobago is a member of the IPPC, which follows the international standards. They are the standard-setting body for phytosanitary measures, which are called ISPMs. To date, there are at least 42 ISPMs. The IPPC was established in 1952. Its goal is basically to protect cultivated agriculture and wild plants by preventing the introduction and spread of pests and diseases, as well as to facilitate cooperation to control the pests of plant and plant products. It is important to note, to import plants and plant products into Trinidad and Tobago, a plant import permit and phytosanitary certificate is required. Some of the items that fall under plant quarantine's purview include seeds for propagation, cut flowers and foliage, peas and beans, fruits and vegetables, and lumber. And all of this is found in our Plant Protection Act of 1975. It's also important to know that import permits shall only be issued to residents of Trinidad and Tobago. So we move on to what is a plant import permit and what is a phytosanitary certificate. I just want to note here that our plant import permit and phytosanitary certificate processing is 100% online, which we are very proud of, I should say. The plant import permit is an official document that gives the importer a legal right to bring in regulated plant material from other countries. And this is under specified phytosanitary requirements or phytosanitary conditions, which we will learn about later on. Our phytosanitary certificate is, we are 100% online, so we are part of the GENS. So we generate our phytosanitary certificate using the GENS system. A phytosanitary certificate is an official document required when shipping plants and plant products. The phyto is a document that attests to the plant health status of your shipment, and it is usually issued by the Plant Protection Organization of the exporting country. Who grants plant import permits and phytosanitary certificates? Well, in Trinidad and Tobago, the Plant Quarantine Services of the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries is the agency authorized to issue the plant import permit and phytosanitary certificates for export. This here is an example of our electronic phytosanitary certificate. We move on to, while some items require an import permit, some items do not require an import permit. So as of September 2020, the then Honorable Minister Ramlal, under Section 4J of the Plant Protection Act, he amended our act, including items that do not require an import permit. And this can be found on our ministry's website, agriculture.gov.tt. Some of the items, as you can see here, for example, herbs and spices, which are produced from multi-method processing or sterilization or even cooking, they no longer require import permits. So you can find out more about this on our website. And even to add to that, you can find out more about plant import permits on our ministry's website, as you can see here. So now the question is, how do I apply for a plant import permit? Many times we would have clients call in and ask, well, how do I go about applying for the import permit? So we must be remembered that applicants must submit an electronic application for this permit. And this is done via TT BizLink through the e-permits and license module. Applicants are required to get registered firstly with TT Connect. In order to do that, they can go onto the website ttconnect.gov.tt or even follow this link here that is on the presentation, ttbizlink.gov.tt. TT Connect to register. The TT Connect ID is usually sent to the client, to the applicant via email. And please note that TT Connect ID is required for one TT Connect ID is required for any of the TT BizLink services. Just for you to remember that when you're filling out that form, that TT Connect registration form, remember that a valid import permit, valid email address and password created must be remembered, because the password will be a logon password for your TT BizLink account. The second step is to get registered now with TT BizLink. So you have registered with TT Connect, so now you're registering with TT BizLink. There are forms you need that must be filled out, the individual Form A and Form B for companies. The relevant form must be filled in and emailed to the relevant TT Connect Service Center, which should be found on the second page of the form. And for any further instructions, you can log on to ttconnect.gov.tt. Now, when you have filled in that form submitted, within 24 to 48 hours, you would receive a notification, an enrollment notification, saying that you have been enrolled into TT BizLink, and now you can go on to the website and apply for your plant import permit together with supporting documents. So the import permit application, after you've been registered, you can go onto the website ttbislink.gov.tt and apply for your import permit. The import permit application consists of 5 pages. First, we have the trader details, where the importer's information will be documented together with a contact number and address. The application details states the country of origin, export, the exporter name and address, the port of entry, and a date for expected when the shipment is due to arrive in the country. The item summary usually states the number of items that you're applying for, the quantities, and the purpose of it. The decision page would record the status of the application, whether it has been forwarded for approval or queried, which you'll learn about later on, or even approved. Please be reminded that all pages must be filled in accurately. This is to avoid the delays in processing of the import permit. When an application is submitted for processing, a reference number is generated, a PLQ reference number. We advise clients to keep this reference number at hand. In case you should need to follow up an application, you can always call us, but you don't need to remember this long number. You just need to remember the last 5 digits of the reference number. Usually, import permits are processed and emailed to the client within 3 to 5 working days, except when the application is queried. And queried simply means that the client is requested to make adjustments on the application, which is usually stated on the decision page. What happens basically is that when the application is queried, it goes back into the client's TT BizLink inbox. So now he can open up the application, go to the decision page, and make the changes and resubmit. Now, when he resubmits his application, the 3 to 5 working day processing time will start all over again. Points to note: some of the common mistakes clients make are on the, let's say, the application details. Now, within the last few years, we have been asking clients to fill in the exporter name and address, as you can see here in the sample, various suppliers as the exporter name, and the country of export as the exporter address. The reason being is that so that you can purchase your items from various suppliers within that country and not have separate applications for different suppliers. And also this will reduce our processing time again. Another mistake clients make in the item summary page. They would include all of the items on one line. Now, as you can see here in the sample, each item is entered separately on a separate line, and this is how the application should be filled in. It's important to note that applications from the same country of origin could be placed on the same permit application, so you don't require a separate application for separate items from the same country of origin and export. Now, this is a sample of our import permit. This is what it looks like. So you can see here the unique number, the PLQ reference number, which we spoke about previously. The importer's name is recorded, the expiry date of the import permit. We also include the list of approved items for import. And please note that only the items on this import permit are what you're allowed to import. We also have the phytosanitary conditions. This is a state in which the item must be in when it's imported. And please note that the phytosanitary conditions must be satisfied before the item reaches into the country. We also have the port of entry. In this case, you can see it's Piaco. the country of origin of the item, the country of export, as well as the exporter name, and as we spoke about previously, various suppliers, you can see it here, and also the signature of the approving officer. Many times we have clients call us and ask us, well, I have my import permit, so what do I do now with it? So when you receive your import permit, a copy of it must be presented to the exporter. The exporter is located in the country of export. And this is so that he can meet with the phytosanitary conditions for entry into Trinidad and Tobago. Now, one of the conditions as usually stated on an import permit is a phytosanitary certificate, which must accompany a shipment. A phytosanitary certificate is issued by the authorities of the Plant Quarantine Service of the exporting country. And this phytosanitary certificate must be presented together with your import permit when the item has landed in Trinidad and Tobago and ready for clearance. So when an item is ready for clearance, an inspection must be conducted. Now, inspections are conducted to ascertain the nature or content of the shipment, to determine the shipment, if the shipment is compliant with our plant quarantine regulations, that is the conditions that are stated on the import permit, and also to determine the presence of any pests that may be of plant quarantine significance. Our inspection process is divided into two parts. First, we have the documentary requirements, which must be satisfied before an inspection is conducted. The documents required are the import permit and phytosanitary certificate. Once these are satisfied, the actual inspection of the consignment will take place. A physical examination is conducted by a plant quarantine officer. Sometimes we do appropriate sampling. For example, all grass seeds coming into Trinidad and Tobago must undergo laboratory tests before it can be released over to the consignee. And in cases where a shipment may be detained because of the presence of a pest, a sample can also be taken to our entomology unit for determination. Now, in order to facilitate an inspection, the client must make a request for appointment 24 hours in advance. And this request is sent by email to our email address, which is plantquarantine.centeno@gov.tt. The information required in an appointment request are the consignee or client's name, the requested date and time of the inspection, the location of the inspection, and also for containerized cargo, whether it's delivery authorized or inspection done with customs. Once all this information is provided, the client is then informed of the booking confirmation via email. When the officer does the inspection, some of the decisions that he can make include, we have the items can be allowed entry, that is once the phytosanitary certificate and import permit requirements are met, or it can be detained for post-entry testing, as mentioned before in the case of the grass seeds, or maybe a detained shipment pending a pest analysis, or the item can be seized or destroyed. An item is seized and destroyed if it is prohibited or it does not meet our documentary requirements, or it can be even refused entry. in this case, it would be reshipped. Here we have a picture of inspection being done at one of our ports of entry. In this case, it's the Port of Spain, Queen's Wharf. Here you can see our officer, and he's geared up with his gloves, mask, and he also has his mobile app, the tablet, which is used to conduct inspections. And you can also notice the COVID-19 guidelines being observed. They are a distance away from each other, the cargo and the individuals. This is a pic of an inspection being done at one of our bonds in Piaco. If you notice here, again, the officer is geared up with her gloves, mask, and there's a table present where the inspection can be undertaken. Here's an inspection being done at the importer's premises. And here you can see our officer where she's sitting at a table. She's inputting data on our the mobile app, which is used for inspections. This mobile app allows us to inform the clients of our decisions in real time. And here we have some pictures of items that require import permits and also being imported. So you have fruits and vegetables, flowers and foliage, some seeds for propagation, and peas and beans, seeds for consumption. And we also have clients bringing in items online using providers such as Amazon and eBay. And if you are purchasing these items from these providers, you are advised that an import permit is also required, so you must apply for your import permit. The Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries strongly advises that before committing to any purchase, please, client, engage a seller to ensure that the phytosanitary certificate can be issued for the intended purchase. Because again, if your item comes into the country without and does not meet our documentary requirements, the items will be seized. And then it would be a loss to you because you paid a lot of money to import your item. So we don't want you to go through that. So please, please apply for your import permit and speak to your supplier about a phytosanitary certificate. For the traveling public transiting the airport, it is also important for you to declare all agricultural items. Avoid placing them into your luggage without the proper documents, which are the import permit again and the phytosanitary certificate from the exporting country. Please note that all unauthorized items from outside Trinidad and Tobago, online or otherwise, will be confiscated at the border, destroyed, and may lead to fines and imprisonment. All of this, you can find it in our Plant Protection Act. Here you can see that a person who contravenes the subsection can be is guilty of the offense, and they can be fined up to $5,000 on the first offense, and a subsequent offense, a fine of $10,000. All of this information can be found on our ministry's website again, agriculture.gov.gt. So in summary, I would just like to recap how you go about importing plants and plant products into Trinidad and Tobago. First, you register to apply for the import permit. And this registration again is done online via TT Connect and TT BizLink. Then you can, once you're registered, you can apply for the import permit. You just log in with your credentials to ttbizlink.gov.tt. The client then receives the import permit via email. Once the client receives the import permit, you can then now send it to a supplier because the conditions on the import permit must be satisfied before importation. Once he is able to do that, then the client can then purchase and import. When the item is landed in Trinidad and Tobago, the client then makes an appointment for a request for an inspection, at planquarantine.centennial.gov.tt. Then we would have the screening of the documents, and please note that inspections are conducted only when the documentary requirements are met. And lastly, in order for you to get your item, an inspection must be conducted, and this is done by a plant quarantine officer. So in a nutshell, this is how you go about importing plant and plant products into Trinidad and Tobago. Some of our PQ achievements and future projects. It should be noted that Plant Quarantine has made tremendous improvements within the last 5 years. This is to facilitate the ease of doing business, and it is done in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Plant Quarantine continues to enhance operations with the aim to efficiently serve our clients. Some of our achievements include the e-import permit, which is 100% online, the use of the mobile app to conduct inspections, the recording of our data, our inspection data on a database. It helps us to make more informed decisions. So all of our data recording is done electronically. And lastly, our ePhyto, which we are very proud of, which we launched just a couple of weeks ago. We are fully on 100% online. This allows us to exchange phytos with other countries that are on the gens, and for countries that are not on the gens, we use the gen system to generate the phytosanitary certificate and email it to the client. For future projects, we have in the pipeline, we have the PQ booking system, which will be launched before the end of 2022, where clients can log on and book a request for an appointment. And also in the future, we have the business information portal. This is a site where you can log on, the public can log on and obtain information regarding the processes involved in importing and exporting plant and plant products. You would also be able to find out what are the phytosanitary conditions for items you wish to import as well. So I've now come to the end of my presentation. I hope it was an informative one. I would like to thank everyone who logged on. Thank you for listening. Should you have any questions, I will answer them after, well, now. I can answer them now. But thank you very much for logging on. I can't understand it. You have a comprehensive list. Okay, so the first question asked was, do we have a comprehensive list for items to be imported? So presently, we do not have a list of items that are allowed importation, but what you can do is is send us an email at planquarantine.centennial.gov.tt and indicate what are the items you want to import, and we will let you know what if it's allowed or not. Or you can always call us at 280-7938 for any further information. And soon you can log on to the business information portal and you will get that information when it's on stream.
Costs for the improvement or inspections.
Okay. So I was given another question. What is the cost associated with import permits and inspections? So there's no cost attached. Our service is free for the import permits as well as the inspections. But however, if an inspection has to be conducted after working hours, which is after 4 p.m., a cost is incurred. Okay, I would like to ask if anyone has any comments or suggestions. You can please log it on to the chat. Now, if there's anything that you don't understand in my presentation or you require further clarification, please feel free to contact us at 280-7938 or email us at planquarantine.centennial.gov.tt. We'll be happy to assist. So I've got another question here. Person asked, how long are items kept in quarantine? Normally, we keep items in quarantine for 3 to 5 working days for you to present the required documentation. Oh, and this actually relates to our items held for post-entry testing. So I would like to thank you, everyone who logged on, for your time. So I'm getting another question here, so I'll just hold on. Grass seeds. So, sorry, someone asked how long does the process takes for testing grass seeds? Well, as mentioned before, it takes 3 to 5 working days for laboratory tests on grass seeds. So someone asked how to arrange an inspection for items online. So actually online items, it takes the same procedure as any other, as outlined in my presentation, sorry. You need to send an email request for the appointment via planquarantine.santano@gov.tt. So just send us an email indicating that your item is in the country and you're requesting an inspection. Just include the date and time and location of the inspection, and also a contact number of the person who will be there clearing the item. For any further questions, you can always send us an email at planquarantine.santano@gov.tt.
Yeah, one more.
Oh. So someone asked again, do I need a certificate to import? Well, the certificate is the import permit to apply for herb root. Well, this all depends on the level of processing the item would have gone through. So to clarify, you can always send us an email again, giving us the process flow. The process flow is basically the processes the item would have gone through from harvesting to packaging. And then a determination can be made if an import permit is required for the item or not. At planquarantine.santano@gov.tt. Thank you.